Okay, boys, welcome back to the Good Boy Chronicles, now with the blue path, which should be the bad path, but somehow it's not going to be. That's really bizarre. Okay, weird theming.
It's a matter of perspective. Do you view returning to normalcy as bad, as good, bad, or I guess normal?
I view it as literally neutral, because nothing is really gained.
It just depends on what normal is for you.
Also, it robs us of potential Dilf Yukimura going forward. And thank you very much for Samurai Warriors for at least giving us that much.
Yeah.
Can't fault him for that. We never talked about that. Fuck. Literally the aged up version of Johnny, or pretty much the aged up version of Yukimura in that one Sonata game from Samurai Warriors is literally just Johnny Young Bosch on the cover. It's wild.
Spirit of Sonata. Yeah, the picture that you're going to insert now of adult Yukimura basically is Johnny Young Bosch.
Yup.
Insert default picture of Johnny.
Yep.
As well. But you are right though in regards to denying the future, because the thing that Takeda wants, which we've seen multiple times in both this game and in the anime, is that he wants Yukimura to grow into his own man, to grow into a leader of his own volition, whereas Yukimura wants to stick with the here and now and just be working under someone else forever without having to make the hard decisions himself because he's never had to.
Yeah.
So Yukimura wants to stay in the present, whereas Shingen wants him to advance into the future. It's a bit of a rough dichotomy we got there.
I do fully get it. It's very scary trying to grow up, especially in, I can imagine, in a war setting like this, where all of a sudden, oh yeah, thousands of people's lives are now in my hands.
Yes, and that was actually something we saw in Basara Season 2, where he had a small force to his own, that were under his command when he was sent out on a separate mission. And he made the decision to get himself involved in a battle that was already going on that he had nothing to do with, and he lost one of his lieutenants in that battle. He died in that battle when he didn't have to, because Yukimura stuck his mouth in a fight that he had nothing to do with. So we've already sort of seen how this goes. You could argue whether or not it's regressive to have Yukimura go through the same dilemma in almost every game.
So I'm going to say something very funny, because I'm just going to be tying around all Johnny Young Bosch rules pretty much. The exact same thing happened in IBO Season 2 with Orga, another character voiced by Johnny Young Bosch, where he could have easily saved the lives of all of his men if he just chose not to side with McGillis from the word go. It was very funny watching my wife get very heartbroken and very upset from the decisions that were made. That was great.
I'm still mad at her. The funny thing is that it's actually the opposite in that scenario, where he wanted to advance into the future by siding with McGillis, whereas everyone else said we're good with the here and now.
True. He also got involved with the fight he didn't need to get involved with whatsoever. But I get, yeah, Miguel is really dangling that golden fruit in front of him or whatever.
Forbidden fruit.
Yes. King of Mars, that's a hell of a title to turn down, for sure.
Especially for, what, like a 19-year-old?
Yeah, in essence.
We've received a peace proposal from Ieyasu. A peace proposal?
Alright, this is something that happened the last time as well, that we sort of glossed over. Ieyasu was like, hey, I know we had that fight, but I think we can still be friends. And Yukimura is like, why are you insulting me to my face?
So now what? Well, just consider carefully. Then choose your course.
Is the divergence between Red Path and Blue Path if Yukimura decides to take up Ieyasu on his offer for peace? Or the treaty?
No, it's actually based on... Because Yukimura has a lot of options for who to, or at least he thinks he does, a lot of options for who to turn to for help. So it's about who he chooses to go to for help first. And He ends up making sort of the wrong call in the blue route, although that one's not technically his fault, as we'll find out later.
Yeah.
A great weight, a great responsibility is now.
But I think he comes out a little bit further ahead in the blue route, if I'm honest, at least as far as how it ends is a different story, but how it progresses, I think, comes up a little clearer for him.
So this is very interesting because it does actually reflect some events that do actually happen in the actual lore, from what I understand. So you see it in Yukimura and you see it more clearly in English in excuse me, Warriors 4, where basically the Tiger of Kai does die. So Yukimura and his brother, he does exist. Weird, I know, I forget sometimes too.
Nobuyuki.
Yeah, Nobuyuki. They do have to figure out, like, they kind of just turn into almost like borderline vagrant at times.
Yeah.
Because, like, the land shattered at that point, they were just kind of like roaming by themselves with like a small platoon of people, more or less.
See, the thing is, it's actually against what we know for Tiger of Kai to actually be alive this long, because in actual events, he would have died during the events of the first game, because the battle where Oda first debuts that he has guns is actually the battle where Shingen Takeda dies.
Yup.
So if they were following any sort of history, he actually wouldn't have been around for the second or third game at all, but he's too cool of a character to kill off, at least in this rendition.
Love it when Capcom accidentally does that. Oops, we made a character too popular. Shit. Virgil, supposed to die in the end of Devil May Cry 1, and it goes missing in DMZ 3. Oops, we accidentally wrote a really cool character. Quickly, let's make a game that actually brings it back to life. Pretty much how it goes.
Yeah, I can't wait for the sort of Devil May Cry 6 to be them breaking out of hell.
Yeah, tell me about it. Actually, it's funny because 5 essentially ends the way 4 does, more so, or at least way more explicitly, where the torch is literally passed to Nero straight up. Like, they're already trying to hand off the ball to Nero already at the end of 4, but it really comes across in 5.
Yeah, but you know, fans are dumb. They think that Nero doesn't deserve to be a main character or whatever that bullshit was.
Okay, that was a very late 2000s thing. I actually think people are a lot more accepting of Nero these days, especially after that. Holy shit! All the things in DMZ5. You know, dead weight. Oh god, this level.
Yeah. I love the fucking sounds that he makes. Yeah, now people love Nero as of DMC5, but when all they had to work on was his appearance in 4, it's like, yeah, we don't like him because we don't understand him. Because we're stupid.
So it was very much a right in the Metal Gear Solid 2 kind of thing, where you were led to believe that your original main character was still the one that was going to be in charge, but it turned out to be a different character. So
Nero was on the box.
Yeah, I know it's on the box, but you didn't know how much of it was actually just going to be Nero, and not a lot of it was actually Dante's spotlight. So
I think Nero was the only character on the box.
Nero wasn't the only character on the box. Dante was still present.
Your own death, or the shame of defeat.
That's point aside. I really think that it took some time for people to actually come around to Nero. I think the bigger issue with DMC4 as a whole is just its level of incompleteness, personally speaking. That's like the bigger issue with it. Outside of that, like, I never see people gripe about the gameplay whatsoever. Not with the amount of the amount of combo videos I've seen over the years. Holy shit.
Okay, he takes up 70% of the box.
You never seen that promo art with him like literally going head to head with Dante on the same on the promo art?
I have, but that's not the cover of the box, though. This is the cover of the box.
Yeah. I think a lot of complaints in hindsight might have been more from the Japanese fan base, because as we are both privy to knowing, yeah, the Japanese fan base can be kind of immovable sometimes on who they want as their main character.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, Gohan. I'm so sorry, Tien.
Okay, well that's a separate matter, but the Gohan thing is also mostly that Toriyama himself is a coward.
Yeah.
Because he tried to do that next generation thing twice in the same story
With
arc.
Goten and Trunks as well, yeah. And Oob. Oh god.
And Oob.
Burning ash
You know, it's
tallow.
it's another separate thing entirely, but personally, I've never understood the hate for Goten and Trunks. I actually like them a lot.
Look how they flock to the
I'm only mildly annoyed by them sometimes when they are, depending on their depiction of what's going on at the time. Original Z, I never have an issue with them. Early Super is more so when they are a little bit grating, but that's only because of the early Beerus arc, especially in the anime.
Yeah.
So it's more symptomatic of like the time period they're in, rather so than the characters themselves. That said, I don't like hearing Goten and Trunks in dubbed. Honestly, it's rough. Oh god.
this would put our lives
Oh no, that's one of the cases where I won't fault you for that in the slightest. Masako knows how it never bothered me. What bothered me was Takeshi Kusao, who plays adult Trunks trying to do a child, and it's the most annoying thing you've ever heard.
Let me tell you, as someone who rides a really strange line between actual fan and hardcore player for Dragon Ball FighterZ, it's the worst thing ever listening to the majority of people playing the game competitively at high levels, just playing in subs. I think it's because it's a default option. I don't fucking know.
It is.
And considering how he's like still one of the top 5 characters, constantly hearing Gotenks basically being God. I'm good.
Yeah, I know how you feel on that one, and that's, you know, it feels like the really half-hearted approach to all of Arxis' bullshit. That yeah, we'll fine, we'll start finally including dubs in these games, but we're gonna make the default option Japanese still.
Yeah, that's.
Why didn't you tell me that?
So this is the funny bit I was talking about earlier, where Yukimura was like, "I know, we can start winning battles again if we hire Saika the mercenary." Wait, what the fuck do you mean we're fucking broke?
Oops. It's starting to feel like whoever has Saika on their team is like it just immediately like several times more likely to win the outcomes of their story mode.
If we can't get the Psych effect,
Yes, very much so.
Shige and Yoshi
That's one of the other funny things too, was that like there is one core narrative to this game and 2 sides of it, and it's like every character that isn't one of the main 4 just like doesn't have any agency of their own. They're just like, all right, we're gonna side with one of the 2 primary forces, and then just sit down and be quiet the entire rest of the game.
Yeah.
Let's go!
Ah.
Future
Oh right. Also, in this version, Yukimura does not form an alliance with Mitsunari.
Yeah, honestly, I can never imagine an alliance going on between those two swimmingly well, or at least in this iteration. Samurai Warriors, yeah, that version of Mitsunari is a lot more level-headed and not constantly pissed off, so yeah.
They depict their alliance in Judge End, where Yukimura has to tell Mitsunari to, hey, stop being so goddamn narrow-minded. You actually have an entire army at your beck and call here. You have to know how to actually use them and make sure they want to stay with you.
Speaking of, isn't this Mitsunari's level, or am I imagining that?
It is. We're fighting him.
Hideyoshi's forces. Ah, yes, there it is.
Yes, it's just another bump in the road. It's just one of the many places we go on our way. Right. So this. So in the red route, the person that Yukimura is trying to ally with or seek advice from is Kenshin. In this route, he's looking for Shimazu, which is all the way in Kyushu, which means he's going basically in the opposite direction.
That is fucking hilarious.
He's going from center north all the way to just the complete southern end of the country.
Maybe it's gonna be one hell of a hike down there. Damn.
Oh, Sasuke comments on that.
I imagine.
But this is one of a really nice stage. I think it's really pretty. One of the better looking ones in the game. PS2 construction, even still.
Are we going to get attacked by a giant drill tank again, or is that only in the version where Mitsunari's actual fortress is taken over?
That's only in the Kanbei version.
Okay.
You'll be able to note the difference because the sky is green instead of blue.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know what turned the sky green.
I mean, obviously it's stylistic, but yeah, that is very funny.
There's also another version of this stage in Utage where you're playing as Sasuke and you're actually doing the hopping from rooftop to rooftop scenario because that's where he's trying to deliver the letter of alliance request to Mitsunari. He's like, I'm just gonna drop it right in your bedroom rather than in your mailbox. But what's kind of funny about that is that if you take one of the hidden pathways in that stage, you can also find the Drillotron in there again.
Huh.
Even though in that version, the castle is fully controlled by Mitsunari. What we have here, however, is this.
Hello, Chariot.
Uh-huh.
I'm
This is
curious
a
if this is
thing.
going where I think it's going.
No, not quite.
Is it gonna start is there a chance it'll start firing ballistas at you, by the way? From inside?
Not exactly.
Okay.
It's gonna
so
do,
it's not
do something.
completely like Gary on from Devil May Cry 3. I saw the carriage, I was like, wait, is this thing about to start either freezing time or firing ballistas at you from inside a carriage? Because if it is, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit. In a good sort of way.
If I didn't kill it within under a minute, which is actually one of the special rewards for this stage, if I didn't kill it so quickly, what it would have started doing was throwing fireballs and then throwing lightning.
Honestly, it's still not too far off the mark.
If you want to call that a reference, go for it. I'm not going to stop. PS1 models.
Incense cannon activated.
Yeah, there are a couple of stages that do this annoying thing where they'll throw out a poison gas at you. And if you take hits while you're in that area, you take double or triple damage.
Ouch, damn.
So yeah, you can either destroy them, or you can just focus on taking out the camp right away, and that'll make them just disappear.
Will that actually do more damage to your ally units as well? Like, will they disappear faster, or is it just a player thing?
I actually don't know. I don't think they would have thought that far ahead, considering you can't really see your allies' health aside from your direct partner.
Fair enough.
But yeah, you just go ahead and you take the camp and they disappear. But if they take the camp back from you, it launches another set of poison urns. And normally I would be rushing faster, but I've had cases, but it's happened from time to time that they are fast enough to just to retake the base, and then you're running at a diamond pattern, so it's like he's going to be all the way on the other end.
Yeah,
By
that's
the time you come back. But this stage goes by relatively quickly. It's not long at all. You can probably finish it in about 6 minutes, give or take. It's been my experience, actually, that very few stages actually run over 10 minutes, not counting loading times and cutscenes.
definitely seems like that. Like a lot of the stages we've been going through have been on a little bit on the faster side, but I imagine that's just experience poking through as well.
Probably. Insofar as I can immediately remember, there's only one stage in the whole run that actually went over 20 minutes. And that stage has every reason to do that, so it's not even an issue, really.
Is that a character? Is that the level I think it is?
It's one of them.
Okay. Have
It
you
is-
already done that?
I have finished them all, but we have not seen them yet.
Okay.
We have not commented over it yet. We're not going to see that one for a long time.
Yeah, okay. So it's probably the level I'm thinking of. Then, damn, I'm surprised. You really did take that level to its farthest extreme. I guess it kind of makes sense, though, because that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a lot. Whenever I get the chance, if I think it's interesting enough, there are a lot of stages where I will actually try to drive the maximum amount of content out of it.
Probably because you could say you did. Yeah.
Is me doing something on hard or the hardest version of that me also going for that clout or bragging rights or what have you?
I mean, at least you can say that, or no one in the comments can say that you're bad at the game.
I guess that's fair. But for what little that's... You know, it always seems so counterproductive whenever you see people on YouTube and in comments saying, oh, you're so bad at this game or that game or what have you, when looking at walkthroughs or Let's Plays or whatever, just seeing people that have, that it's like their first or second time ever playing a game and they don't know every facet of it. It's like, okay, telling someone that they're bad at the game isn't exactly going to make them, A, want to interact with you any further, and B, make them want to get that much better. It doesn't really work as much of an incentive.
So I actually had an experience like this last night, funny enough. It wasn't with me, it was with the actual YouTuber I've been following for a good amount of time now. So, the guy I usually follow for like Dark Souls content, and then all of a sudden, like a couple years ago, he picked up Devil May Cry 1 because, hey, Devil May Cry 5 is hitting, may as well try this game out for the first time. I'm like, okay, cool, let's see what's going on. He did a countdown of like his top favorite boss fights of the game, and he ranked fucking... Not only did Nello Angelo land third, he also ranks Nightmare higher, and fucking Mundus as the top one. Like, what? Okay. Not only that, the guy also fundamentally didn't really understand a lot about the game. Like, didn't understand that Devil May Cry is a heavy action game, as well as the fact that is, like, you're not supposed to side roll out of everything. Like, jumping is also a viable ways of evading stuff. Anyway, my point is, I think it's one thing to call someone bad at a game and then ignoring him, that's whatever. But it's another thing for commenters to be pointing out things that you fundamentally misunderstand about a game, and then, you're not receptive to the feedback and insight. Like, whenever people say that I'm doing something wrong in chat, if I'm like streaming something, like when I first did Devil May Cry 5, people came into the chat who actually played it before. I'm like, okay, well, just tell me, alright, tell me guys what I'm doing wrong, and I'll see if I can feed it into my gameplay. Like, guys were told me, you just missed like 2 hidden items. I'm like, oops, well, come back for later, I guess.
It depends on whether or not what they're doing is actually constructive or not, and who they're saying it to. If it's someone that's just playing average, decent, or mediocre, it's like, it's not really going to be of much use. Now, conversely, if you're saying it to someone, if you're saying that sort of shit to someone that's Aaron Hansen level bad at video games, yeah,
Yes.
fucking go for it. Fucking go for it. Tell them that they are the biggest fucking moron on the face of the planet.
Yeah, I'm gonna fully agree with that one, yeah. Where you fundamentally misunderstand everything about the game, and you don't care to, learn what you're not getting about the game, and you just call everyone who says that is a troll. I'm like, God, you are such a fucking loser.
Or in the worst case is literally asking, how am I supposed to do this or that when literally looking directly at a tutorial on the screen? How am I supposed to do this? The prompt is literally on the screen.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Gaming is fun.
It is. But that said, I do get it, because, like, with me posting like Devil May Cry stuff, I always know that I'm like, I feel like Devil May Cry has like this stigma where you can't post your stuff to YouTube unless you're like playing on the highest difficulty and you're not getting hit. I always feel like there's like that subtle like community expectation that you are playing on the level of like dongery and you're just like not getting hit and you're doing everything super stylishly. I think there's definitely that level of like gatekeeping that definitely needs to be avoided, and being like, okay, so you're playing like this, but you can do X and Y to make your gameplay like a little bit better, and you can work around this like to a certain capacity.
Yes, exactly.
That's good feedback, but just calling someone bad, that's just not getting anything done. Also, I love his intros.
Yes. That's the worst part, really, is the gatekeeping. It's like, well, why the fuck would you upload your content if you're not playing on Hell or Hell mode and making sure every single hit is a triple S rank? Like, because I want to play the game either the way I know how or learn how to play it. You just can't play things blind anymore on YouTube or on Twitch.
Twitch, I think there is you can play things a little more blind, but I think with the YouTube thing, it's also a matter of the amount of inadvertent exposure you get. Like if I post something and all of a sudden it blows up to like 20,000 views, all of a sudden I'm like, oopsie, I didn't think this was getting blown up by the algorithm. Then I'm definitely going to be prone to a lot more people saying that I'm bad at something where I'm like, I didn't intend for this to get popular. I'm not that good of at the game, but okay.
Well, you have sort of the opposite problem. You have people asking you, how do I press triangle X?
Yeah.
But it's like, you can't... What I mean by saying you can't do anything blind anymore is like... People act like you have the audacity to not know literally every facet of every game or piece of media or what have you. You can't talk about anything unless you know literally every single thing there is to know about it, including the developer's home address and social security number.
And that's a very delicate balance we do have to strike as a community, because like, yeah, you don't want to shut out newer players, but on the other hand, you do have to call out people that are just deliberately like bad and don't care to get better at a game. I'm definitely thinking about the Doom 2016 clip of the guy from Polygon playing the game and not pressing more than one button at the same time.
Yeah.
There's a fine line there. Actually, there's not. It's a very large gap.
There's no place on the internet anymore for beginner or learner content.
Yeah.
Taking something from the ground up and then learning to either be good at something or to become a master at something. You are automatically at fault for not being a master the first time you touch something.
Yeah. But play Basara, guys. You'll be a master in like 10 minutes. It's called Play Mitsunari.
Yes, but also please, I need more people that play these games that I can talk to.
Still a long way to go, but I cannot lose my focus. Even Masamune met defeated.
It's just funny seeing the different ways that people can go about their life, like Yukimura here. That was a potential friendship with Mitsunari that he just burned.
Lord Masamune, it seems Shingen's forces are advancing.
Really? That must mean he's...
Oh yeah, and I just realized that the red route isn't the one where it just defaults the end to Yukimura fighting Masamune. Pretty sure that's what we're going to get at the end of this one.
Indeed.
It is, and that's actually another good point. Yukimura fighting someone new, sort of, or fighting someone with a purpose that will actually expand his scope, his vision or something, give him a clearer picture of the world or something new to look at. Whereas the thing about being stuck in the past with the blue route continues further, with his final battle being against Masamune, something he's already done plenty of and knows everything there is to know about. You're not exactly going to advance your life, if I can put it like that, by just repeating yourself again and again until the end of time.
Pretty much.